Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. I'm Erin, and for today's video we are going to be doing a movie review on the movie A Quiet Place. Now, I've been wanting to see this movie since it came out in the movie theaters, but for whatever reason I never actually went to the theater to go see it. Either things came up or, quite honestly, my anxiety probably got the best of me and I didn't go because, well, that's just the way anxiety works sometimes. I don't like to go places. If you hear any snoring, slurping noises, itching noises, and other assorted dog noises, that's because Oliver and Dixie are right under here under my desk, kind of hanging out, and they won't stop doing weird things. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This is a movie review about A Quiet Place. I'll let you guys know what I actually thought of the movie at the end, but I just kind of wanted to go over what the movie was about. First of all, this movie is very different than most horror films that have come out. 90% of this movie, there's actually no talking, and I will get to why in just a second. A Quiet Place came out in April of this year. And it just came out like on demand and on DVD on July 10th, I want to say. It may have been, I think it was July 10th. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and get it on demand and watch it as soon as I knew it was coming out because, like I said, I've been wanting to see this movie for a while now. So I just kind of want to go over what the movie itself was about. So first of all, the movie takes place in upstate New York, so it was kind of near and dear to my heart. There are a couple of scenes that were filmed in places nearby where I grew up and places I've actually been. This is one of them. It's the scene where they're going over the bridge toward the beginning of the movie. It's just kind of neat to see places that you know and have grown up around in, movies. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Like I said, this movie is 90% silent. There's no speaking. And the reason is the monsters slash aliens, to be quite honest, I'm not really sure if they ever specified in any of the clippings or what have you that they came from outer space or where these things came from. And maybe they're gonna put that in a second movie, I don't know. I might not have caught it, and if I didn't, let me know down below where they specified where these things came from. In any event, they are triggered by sound. So as long as you're not making any noise or they can't hear you, they don't attack you and kill you. So anyway, the movie starts out where you're introduced to a family. It is a mother, a father, their daughter, and their 2 young sons. So the daughter of the family, who is the character named Reagan, she is deaf. So since she is deaf, the family knows sign language. So if you think about it, in a situation like this where monsters are around that kill you when they hear you, this is definitely a good skill to have. So this is basically how the family communicates with one another. So the movie opens up with them, the family, kind of scavenging for things in a store. The youngest boy is very enthralled with this spaceship toy, and he wants to play with it. However, it has batteries and it makes noises. So the father, who I believe that character's name is Lee Abbott, he takes the batteries out and leaves them, and then the little boy can take the spaceship. Well, as they're on their way out the store, the little boy grabs the batteries. We all know that this is a sign for bad things happening. So, as I said, with the bridge scene, they get to the bridge and they start to cross, and then all of a sudden we hear the toy start to make its noises like a space shuttle would make. And unfortunately, the youngest boy is actually killed by one of these monsters. And then the movie kind of flash forwards to the future. When it flash forwards to the future, we kind of see the father. He has kind of made like a makeshift lair where he has all these articles up. Like I said, I'm not sure if it says where these things came from or if they just appeared. But anyway, he has all these articles up and he's like trying to find a way as to how they can beat these things. And he has different lists of things, what affects them, what doesn't affect them. The one thing you can clearly see is that these things are blind, so they only go by hearing, which is probably why they have a heightened sense of hearing. He also has been trying to reach out to see if other people around the world through like Morse code and what have you are still alive. We also see that the family lives on a farm. They clearly had a farmhouse, but for the most part they live in a silo that has no windows and is sealed up so that these things can't get to them. So also when the movie flashes forward, we see that the mother, who is Evelyn Abbott, that's the name of the character, not the name of the actress. Emily Blunt is the actress that plays her. Anyway, so the character's name is Evelyn. We see that she is pregnant. Now you have to ask yourself, how the hell is this going to work when she has this baby? Babies cry. These things are triggered by sound. So you kind of see what they're planning to do. They've actually made like a soundproof box for the baby, which sounds terrible, but you also see that they have an oxygen tank with an oxygen mask so that they can put the baby in there when the baby is crying, pretty much. So I mean, that whole thing makes you kind of think, what would you do if you lived in a world where if you made any kind of sound, the chances of you dying are pretty damn high? Like, we're talking no sound at all, so you can't laugh, cry, talk to whoever, listen to music, watch YouTube videos without having like headphones on or earplugs in. So it definitely would be a very strange life to have. So going back to Lee, the father, and him tinkering around with stuff, he's also trying to find a way to make hearing aids for his daughter so that she can hear somewhat. So the way that she puts on the hearing aid, it almost kind of looks like she actually has had a cochlear implant put in, because there's a piece that kind of sticks to her head and then the rest goes into her ear. I quite honestly don't really know how hearing aids like that work, but that's just the way it looks. So in another part in the movie, we see the mother trying to teach the one son that's left just basic skills like doing homeschooling almost. Well, the father comes up and he wants to take his son hunting and fishing, and the kid throws a fit. He doesn't want to go. He's scared to death. He's afraid that they are going to be killed by these things if they make a sound. But his mom assures him that his father will take care of him and that these are skills that he definitely needs to learn how to do. So while those two are off hunting and fishing, they come across a waterfall, and where there's running water and what have you, they're able to speak because these things can't decipher between the water and the speaking. It's like they can't zoom in on it being a live animal when it's by this running water. So while they're off doing their hunting and fishing thing, the mother is doing laundry and doing other sort of tasks around where the farmhouse is. And as she's bringing the laundry up the stairs, we notice that there's a nail that is sticking up out of those stairs. So you know that somebody's going to end up stepping on that nail eventually. So while the mother is doing that, the daughter kind of gets miffed. She packs a whole bunch of stuff and she takes off. Well, where she ends up going is to the bridge where her little brother was killed. And they've set up a memorial for him. And there's a cross with a whole bunch of toys and what have you. And one of those toys is the space shuttle toy that he had when he died. And she figures out a way to cut a wire to where it just lights up, and she's sitting there kind of playing with this toy. So that was kind of a sad scene. So flashback to the father and son. They are on their way back from hunting and fishing when they stumble across a dead body of an old lady near this creepy house, and they look up and they see this creepy old guy standing there. He's looking at what clearly is his dead wife, So you know what's going to happen. The father, Lee, grabs the little boy and starts to run, just as this old guy starts to scream and is attacked by these monsters. They then flash back to where the mother is, and of course, she goes into labor. Now, while she's going into labor, there are these things all throughout the house that she is in. As she's trying to get away from the monsters that are in the house, she goes back down into the basement and, of course, steps on that nail that was in the steps before. So, probably not a fun time. What ends up happening, you gotta figure to yourself, how the hell are you gonna have a baby and not make any kind of noise? That's some extreme pain right there. So the father had actually had this all planned, and he has the son go and set off fireworks to distract the monsters from the mother, and they go toward the sound of the fireworks, of course. So that's how the mother ends up living, as does the baby, which turns out to be another boy. Well, while the other little boy is doing that, he ends up getting trapped in the corn underneath a tractor while these monsters are kind of roaming around nearby. So, obviously, having a baby in this kind of environment quickly becomes a problem. The baby is crying, which then again attracts the monsters back from where they were by the fireworks back to where the mother and baby are hiding. So in the meantime, while they're hearing this baby crying, the daughter comes back and she's walking through the cornfield. Actually, one of these monsters comes out and is near her. Of course, she can't hear it because it's behind her. And the hearing aid that her father has made her starts to make this high-pitched whining noise, and all of a sudden the monster just takes off. In the meantime, since the father is back, he is with the mother and the baby. They can see they have like surveillance set up that these monster/aliens are kind of near where their children are. So the mother sends the father to go save the kids. While he goes to do that, we see that the basement starts to flood where the mother and the baby are. The baby starts to cry again. There's a monster down there. She quickly grabs the baby and comes behind a wall of water. Remember what I said about the waterfall? They can't hear, like decipher between the water running and noises that animals or people would be making. So she brings the baby back behind the wall of water, and somehow the monster ends up going away. So this is where we get toward the end of the movie. So here's the point where I'll get to the spoilers. If you don't want to hear the spoilers and you want to jump past the spoilers, go ahead to this time right here, and that will get you past where the spoilers are. Anyway, spoiler alert. What ends up happening toward the end of this movie is the father ultimately ends up sacrificing his life for his children, because if he doesn't, the children are going to be killed by these monster/alien things. So this actually shows the kids how much he actually cared for them. And I forgot to mention that earlier in the movie, it's clear that the daughter doesn't think that he truly cares for her. In any event, they get back to where their mother is. Their mother has a shotgun. She has given the baby to the son, and the daughter is there. Well, this monster thing comes down the stairs and is near them, and all of a sudden the hearing aid starts going off again. And meanwhile, while this hearing aid is doing this high-pitched frequency, the deaf girl can actually hear this as well, and it bothers her. So she kind of puts two and two together that the sound is bothering both of them. So what she does is she ends up putting this sound over a microphone that her father has there, which makes this monster go nuts and gives the mother time to go ahead and shoot it. So now they know that this high-pitched frequency is pretty much the Achilles heel of these monsters. Well, apparently when this monster is going nuts, it signals to other ones and they can see them coming, and the movie ends with the mother and the daughter kind of looking at each other, and they're kind of prepared, they know what to do. Okay, so now what I thought of this movie. I thought it was a great movie. It was definitely different, it kept my attention, I really, really enjoyed it, and if you read reviews online, a lot of other people enjoyed it too. I think what made me enjoy it so much was that it was very different from other horror movies that have come out. And let's face it, today it's hard to come across a movie, any kind of movie for that matter, that doesn't have a play on some other movie that was out before it, or is similar to another movie that was out before it. Seems like people are running out of creativity. The only thing is that I thought that the end of this movie was kind of weak, but my understanding is that there is a strong possibility that there is going to be a sequel to this movie. So hopefully it won't do what most sequels do and kind of go down the crapper, but we shall see what happens with that. If they do come out with a sequel to this, I'd definitely be interested in seeing that one as well. So overall, I thought this movie was really great. So out of 5 stars, with 1 being crap and 5 being great, I would definitely give this movie 5 stars. I'm even contemplating buying the DVD for it. That's how much I liked it. And usually I only buy DVDs of movies that I really, really like. So if you've seen this movie, let me know what you think down in the comments below and whether you liked it or you didn't like it. I'm sure there's some people who probably hated it because there was no talking in it and whatnot. I can definitely see how that would annoy some people. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. To those who have already subscribed, it really means the world to me, and thank you so, so much for doing that. I'll definitely be having more movie reviews and other videos like this, so if you liked it, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Alright guys, I will catch you next time. Have a great day or night or whenever you're seeing this, and I will catch you later. Bye!